Hey, what's happening, everybody? Jay Shockblast here, and man, what a frustrating night last night was. So here's the thing: this is the third time I'm making this video. The first time, I probably shouldn't have done it. I was falling asleep. It was awful. It was terrible, and yeah, I should have just known better and just cut it. But I went through 40 minutes thinking I could do it, and I wasn't happy with it, so I cut it. The second time, I nailed it. I'm going to tell you, I am hoping and praying it is even half as good this time as it was last time, because it would have been the best video. Number 4 would have been the best of the 5. There's no doubt. I thought I really enjoyed that one. But when I went to listen to it before I uploaded it, because I have a bad tendency to not do that, there was a constant buzz the entire video. And I flipped out. I lost it. And I just went to bed disgusted, because that video is 59 minutes and 30 seconds of me talking into, yeah. I recorded video of it on my phone, really mad at Elgato, because it's their product's fault that it happened. And I don't know if I'm ever going to post it, but in the moment I was so angry and I wanted to Hulk smash. But enough of that, because we're here now. And I guess I've had 2 practice runs, so let's go ahead and focus on the positive. And yeah, let's go. One thing I do want to point out, first of all, thank you guys so much. Like, honestly, the feedback so far has been so great. You know, you guys are loving the series so far, and I love you for that. So, you know, please thank you for supporting me, and I really hope you enjoy this and let all your friends know how awesome the series is, because I just, it's a lot of work. I do this all in one take, okay? One take. I don't sit here and go through character by character and splice it together. This is going to be me talking nonstop, straight through. So that's what I think is so great about it, is it's just bam, 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 off the cuff. I am going to make mistakes, and I love it when you guys, you know, call me on it, respectfully, especially. So without any further ado, there's one last thing I want to cover. I spent like 50 bucks on eBay to buy the Adventurer pack, okay? And I have to show you, it's stuck waiting to install. The Avengers Adventurer character pack. Now, I created an Australian account because apparently this was an Australian code, and it says it downloaded on that code, but I can't get it to access. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. If any of you guys know what to do, I would love to know before I record part 5. That way I can have Hyperion and Scuba Captain America and Space Captain America. I really want to include them. I really don't want to have to wait to add them later on. I want them to be in part 5. So if you know how I can get that to download, I would love you forever. I would figure something out for you. But anyway, let's go ahead and start talking about these characters for rows. Let's see, we got 2, 4, 6. So rows 7 and 8. Okay, we're gonna go from OT all the way to UL. So this is the Other. And the Other we get to know during the Avengers. He is the one that is kind of brokering the deal between, you know, Thanos and Loki. He supplies the Chitauri army, and he calls in a Chitauri army. Look at his face. Look at that. I love it. So he calls in the Chitauri army for himself here. Otherwise, not overly interesting. He's got like this misty stuff. I'll be honest with you, over the course of the movies he was in, I grew to loathe him. I thought he was annoying, and I absolutely loved it when Ronan just flat out snapped his neck. But he's available in this game, and you know, you might use him, you might not, I don't know. I really love the summons that they have now, where there's certain characters that can call in people to fight for him. I really think that's a great feature, so good job there. I really think it's awesome. So after the Other, we have Pepper Potts, Miss Gwyneth Paltrow herself. You know, this is a very central figure in the Marvel Universe for Iron Man, in Iron Man's universe, I should say. Obviously, his longtime assistant and main love interest for the most part. Now, we know Tony's a womanizer and he's a ladies' man and all that good stuff. But for the very longest time, this is his flame. This is his go-to. And you're probably not going to use her in the game very much. I mean, unless you're really a big Gwyneth Paltrow fan, which I don't blame you. But, you know, she's not overly useful, but I don't have a problem with her being in the game. What we also have, and this is fantastic, like, you'll probably never use the character other than when you have to use her in the level, but this is Pepper Potts in the Mark 42 suit. And she runs around so dainty and it's so funny. And I love the fact that, oh, look at that. She can't fly, but she could land on her head. That looks so painful and so awkward. And then when we kind of let her sit here bored by herself, she does everything she can to blast her head off. I swear she does. She's trying to prove me to be a liar. Alright, so I guess I'm just going to be a liar. But also, I want to cover this real quick. You know, Pepper's not always useless. When it comes to being in the armor, she has her rescue armor. Yeah, see? There it is. Ha, I told you. So she has her rescue armor. And obviously, when she is Iron Woman, she actually goes by Rescue. And, you know, she can do all the Iron Man stuff. She can launch herself. And she lands in the famous Iron Man pose. So, love it as Rescue. You can see she's got like the girlish kind of physique. There's like black that's kind of like show the hip curves, and then even her chest piece is kind of shifted. I don't know, whatever. You get what I'm saying. But you know, really a cool figure. You know, if you're, I know a lot of female fans really enjoy playing as female characters. I'm going to do a great video, and I want you guys to comment about this to encourage her. My girlfriend Becky has been kind of watching me play, and I told her, hey, I want you to do a top 10 favorite characters video. And she doesn't know anything about any of these characters. She's literally just watching them, you know, do what they do. So I want her to do a top 10 video. So guys, I want you to encourage her. And I noticed, like, from her perspective, she was talking about some of them. And spoiler, Lightspeed is one of the ones she likes. And it's just mostly because she's a girl. So it's cool to have a female Iron Man suit, you know, for the girls that like to play the game, that like to play as the female characters. And that's a completely normal thing too, by the way. That's not like me saying, hey, that's, you know, kind of strange. It's not. But anyway, that's Rescue, that's Pepper Potts, and this is Marvel the Protector. And Marvel has been a bunch of people, including Marvel Boy, but right now he is the Protector. And I don't want to pretend I know a ton about him. You know, it's just one of those characters that I am kind of glad that they focused on here. I really wish they spent a lot of time with current Avengers, since there's a lot of current Avengers that are very different, you know, like Speedball and stuff like that, that have also have past histories. But, you know, Protector is really a good example of a character that they're using now, that as he is now. And, you know, again, he does do some good things that you'll probably find useful. You know, he can, you know, shoot the electric static and whatever. I think he also, well, he flies. He does not launch himself, though. But, yeah. So some of you might enjoy him as a character in general, and, you know, he's pretty cool to play as, so useful enough. Next we have Quasar, and this might be, there's a good chance Quasar is making my top 10. He'll definitely make, I'm going to do like a video of my top 10 favorite like costumes in the game, and he's definitely making top 10. I love this costume more than Nova's. Like, I love this costume. He looks so cool. The hair is a bit much, but it's pretty cool at the same time. So Quasar has the quantum bands, and they did a good job of showing those right there. They're a great source of power. And there's also another Quasar. So this is Wendell Vaughn, and he was dead for a while. Nobody ever stays dead, so hopefully Retrider's back soon. But alas, he came back, and Phyla-Vell was Quasar at one point as well. But when he came back during Annihilation, I think it was Annihilation that he came back. It's been a while. He kind of teamed up with Nova, Rich Rider, and a lot of others to kind of take down Annihilus. And Annihilus was after those quantum bands because Annihilus was always after great sources of power and stuff like that. So Quasar is one of the four of the 6 members of the Annihilators that's in this game, and I know I've talked a lot about them, and it's because I think they're such a great group. And I wish that they had done more with them. So the Annihilators are Quasar, Nova, Beta Ray Bill, Ronan the Accuser. Those are the 4 that are in this game. And then there's also Silver Surfer and Gladiator. Such an amazing group of cosmic superpowers. So this is a really cool character. I'm really glad Quasar is in the game. Definitely an enjoyable character. I think you guys are gonna love playing as him, as do I. Now, Quicksilver here is probably not in the best place to show off Quicksilver. I should have thought that through, but should have had him down Manhattan. But he is one of the many speedsters in the game, the OG speedster, if you will. I wonder what happens if he speeds his way off the helicarrier. Oh, it doesn't catch him. Oh, it does catch him. Okay. So, yeah, don't do that. It doesn't really help. But, I love the speedsters in this game. And obviously, Quicksilver is the OG original. And he's having a hard time right now because there's poles that are blocking his way. But I love the streaks of light behind them. It's honestly, like, I tend to have a liking for, flying characters. Mostly because they can fly. It makes it easier to get around, like Manhattan and stuff. But I can't help but love playing as any of the speedsters, especially Quicksilver. I mean, history-wise, I feel like I don't really have to tell you a whole lot about Quicksilver. One of the sons, or one of the siblings of Magneto, although I've heard that's changed. Magneto and Scarlet Witch, I believe. I'm sorry, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are supposed to be the children of Magneto. And, I'm going to skip ahead, too, because Scarlet Witch is going to be in this row. So we might as well feature the Scarlet Witch now with her brother Pietro. So these are the children of Magneto. What's interesting is they are, Quicksilver has been associated with the X-Men as well as the Avengers. And obviously, they changed their history a little bit, because of the fact that they are associated with the X-Men. I loved Aaron Taylor Johnson as Quicksilver. I thought he did a great job. Wish he didn't die. But anyway, Wanda Maximoff and Pietro Maximoff. This is the Scarlet Witch. They are obviously brothers and sisters. This is her little cry when she finds out Quicksilver has died. She does all this kind of stuff. I love the animation, the way that she kind of moves and grooves in the way of everything. Also, we can go down here. It's appropriate because she can do the mind control thing. Let me go ahead and bring her over here. We'll press circle. And it turns the power on to come over here and break stuff. So, bam. So obviously I've already done that, but still. So there you go. There is Scarlet Witch. I feel like these are 2 characters that we know a lot about, and they're fun characters. I love the fact that when Quicksilver, is being impatient, he kind of sits there and gets just really impatient. Scarlet Witch will start juggling bricks, Lego bricks. Eventually. Right now they're just not cooperating with me. I thought Elizabeth Olsen did a decent enough job as Scarlet Witch. I didn't hate her. I didn't love her. It's weird though because she's an Olsen, and anyway. So there's Quicksilver. He's gonna go skiing. Also, as part of this row, we have some other speedsters. We have Speed himself. Now he is supposed to be the nephew of Pietro. So the daughter or the son of Wanda, the long dead son of Wanda that was reincarnated, as is Wiccan. So yeah, Wanda is such a huge power in the Marvel Universe. I mean, House of M, anybody? With just a few words, she said no more mutants, and they were gone. So it was all over him, all over learning about her sons that she lost. So also, she was married to Vision at one point, which is a little weird. So this is the other speedster that we have, Spitfire. Now this is one that I don't know a ton about. I really don't know where she came from, but I'm doing all these speedsters here. Now I am planning on doing a video that features all the speedsters at once and showing them off and telling you which speedster I like. The speedsters in this game are such a welcome addition. I really, really love it, and I love the fact that they like to go grab their surfboard and their skis and stuff like that. So I know I kind of went a little out of order from what I normally do, but I wanted to get them kind of grouped together. And I think that's all the speedsters in this row. Yeah. So, next up, we're going to bring up, I'm going to save that. No, we'll go up and bring up Ravage too. So here is Ragnarok, and he is a cyborg Thor. So basically during Civil War, Thor said, F you guys, I'm out. I'm not dealing with your pathetic and petty war. I'm going back to Asgard to do Asgardian things, and you guys take care of yourself. And Tony Stark basically said, yeah, about that. Hey, Hank Pym, make me a Thor. Now, you would think that Tony would learn his lesson and Hank would learn his lesson after the whole Ultron experience, but no, they didn't. So then we have Ragnarok. Now, Ragnarok, as you can imagine, ends up going batshit crazy. And that ends up being a battle. He ends up killing Bill Foster, who is Black Goliath. So he ends up killing Bill Foster. Yeah, I get you. And he kills him in his giant form, and they end up having to bury him as a giant because they couldn't. He was dead. They couldn't shrink him down again, and it's just, I don't know. It's like, it was a really cool story. Ragnarok also popped back up during the Initiative. Actually, I think this might have been when that happened, but he was basically kept in the little dungeon where they were keeping MVP, his body, because they thought they were going to do something with him again. So, Ragnarok, Tony Stark and Hank Pym, they're always up to something. Drink break. Sorry, guys. Had to take a sip. I was parched. So anyway, that's Ragnarok. This is Ravage, and he looks like an Amish Hulk. Let's face it. He does launch himself. It's really kind of funny launching yourself from the helicarrier because you're so far up. And what I would absolutely love to do, I know this isn't going to work, but because I've done it with Hulk, but I'm going to launch myself in the air, and then I'm going to do the elbow drop all the way to Earth. But nope. That would have been so funny if you could do that. I love the elbow drops though, or the belly flops. Like Thanos does a belly flop, and it's like boom. It's so fun. Hey, Ravage. I don't know a goddamn thing about him. All right. I don't know where he comes from. One of you guys in the comment section said he was only in like 4 issues. See if I can pull up that video real quick. I want to give credit where credit's due. I know you guys, when you watch the videos, you love to hear your name and stuff like that. I do that as much as I can, and I'm not really good at like writing notes about giving credit to whoever said it, and I need to get better at that. and I'm trying to get better at that. But alas, I'm looking for Ravage now, because one of you, I don't want to steal the credit. I did not think about Amish Hulk at all, and I know the person that said it. If you're watching, you're like yelling at the screen. You're like, me. All right, so the Lego Squad Trader. Ravage is only in 4 comic issues and Hulk Killer 2, so why are this in this game? And then somebody, and same person, the Lego Squad. I know you watch a lot of my videos, so I'm glad that it was you. He looks like an Amish Hulk. So that I spent way too much time on Ravage. Honestly, way more time than he deserves. Probably way more time than he was even in the comics, but they went heavy on Hulk characters in this game, and that's fine. I'll do a Hulk video at some point featuring all the Hulk characters. But speaking of Hulk characters, let's get to 2 of my favorites. All right, one of my favorites and one that I kind of just did a little bit more research on. Now, I'm going to talk about Red She-Hulk first, and the fact that she's got this psycho face when she gets stuck on the helicarrier. And, no, when she runs, I love that face. I also love this face. Look at that. And this is what my controller is like rattling. I don't know if you can hear that. But she launches herself in the air and does the slam fist down to the ground. So this is Betty Ross. Her father is Thaddeus Ross, the Red Hulk. And apparently she died and came back as the Red She-Hulk. And I was not aware of that. Now, she was a love interest of Bruce Banner. The original love interest of Bruce Banner for the very longest time. So I've been watching, like, I've seen Red She-Hulk pop up a lot over the last few years, and I really haven't, like, I kept saying, okay, there's a story there, I probably want to know it, but I've never really focused on it. So now that I know that she's Betty Ross, I'm kind of intrigued. So we'll have to look more into that, but I'm glad she's in the game. It's a really cool character. You know, if you're going to have a lot of Hulks in the game, you know, you might as well have her. And there's that. So now we get to the Red Hulk. And surprising to me, like, I knew Red Hulk was kind of popular. I had no idea how popular he was until Lego Marvel Superheroes. When his video on how to unlock him, which is super easy to do, got me well over 1 million views. And thank you guys for that. But he is awesome. Like, he's an asshole. He does transform. Thaddeus Ross, General Thaddeus Ross, total jerk. All right, just a big jerk face. He's always, you know, manipulating and conniving and all those kinds of things. And but it works for him. And Red Hulk is ruthless. Now the difference between Red Hulk and you know OG Bruce Banner Hulk, and I have to say that now because now there's the totally awesome Hulk, which is Amadeus Cho. You know, there's Bruce Banner cannot control his Hulk form, whereas Red Hulk can. And I really love... I was really enjoying what they were doing with the Thunderbolts under his charge. I know I've mentioned it a few times, but you know, it was led by him, and he had this really big thing for red characters. So he went with you know, the Punisher, who had a red logo. He went with Deadpool, even though he's batshit crazy. He added the comic relief. He had Ghost Rider. He had Elektra. Elektra and frickin' Punisher had a interesting love interest going on. Who else he had? The Leader was there for some weird reason. Venom, Agent Venom went to space, but not before having a red logo for his chest. So it was really an interesting series. At one point or another, you know, Ross basically told everybody that they would do their own quest. Like, look, you do this for me and I'll owe you one. And it was interesting to see the characters choose their I owe you one missions. So I love Red Hulk. Like, honestly, I really enjoy seeing him involved in stuff. He's pretty much a beast, and his hair upgrade is quite entertaining in this game. So that's Red Hulk. Next, we're going to move on to Red Skull. 9! The original Nazi. This is one of the first bad guys of the world. Captain America's mighty foe. And super soldier of German ilk. He can go ahead and call in some Hydra scum to assist him. Now notice it is the old school Hydra. And this dude, yeah, seriously, dude. Get out. You picked the wrong place, bucko. So yeah, again, I've already kind of covered that I love the summons. I know that they've found a way to kind of work him back into the story. I don't know if the whole Nazi thing is really going to work anymore. Oh, when he gets bored, he gets hit by Captain America's shield out of nowhere. I don't know that the Nazi thing is going to ever really work again. There's also a lot of strict laws in Germany where you can't even show that stuff. It always gets edited out in video games. So, I know they had him as like Red Onslaught, and there's just a few other times where they've kind of tried to bring him back, but I wish they had the opportunity to do it like as part of their big retconning that they constantly do. Excuse me. And he could be like a central figure just as the leader of Hydra, not with any of his ties to the past. Like, all right, we know who he is, but he's here now. He's, the leader of Hydra, all that good stuff, instead of Viper. But I don't even know if she is anymore. But anyway, there you go. That is the Red Skull. Now, next up we have Reptile. I'm not 100% sure how you pronounce it. Now, when I did my video for him, I didn't really realize who this was. This is basically Marvel's Beast Boy. And you guys loved Beast Boy in Lego Batman 3. I know that because while I was doing all these types of videos for that, you guys were all out there like, oh, do Beast Boy, do Beast Boy, do Beast Boy. Well, this is basically Beast Boy, and they dropped the ball. Now, don't get me wrong. He looks like a cool character, but I don't know. Did he get stuck in the snake form? Because, he should be able to transform. He should look like he does when he's in his human form. And I know he was part of, like, Avengers Academy and Avengers Arena, specifically. I don't know. I think there's a lost opportunity. This could be a transforming figure, and it's not. He can fly, though, so I guess there's that. He does look really cool when he grows out the wings. He definitely looks cool with his face. But this could have been a really cool transforming character where he just transformed into a bunch of different things. Instead, if you're a fan of this character, I don't know if you're going to be thrilled about it, but, it is what it is. But that's Reptile. Not one of my favorites personally, but they really focused on him for a while, so it's a little weird that they got him wrong here. As far as I'm concerned, you might be more passionate about this character than I am. I'm certainly not, and you may say, "No, he's fine. Don't worry about it." So, who am I to judge? Next up, we have Ronan the Accuser. I'm just gonna bring Quasar back here so they can hang out. Now, for a lot of you, Ronan is he's different. You're used to the Guardians of the Galaxy version of Ronan. I've seen comments from people saying, "Wait, Ronan was a good guy." Yeah, and he was a bad guy, he was a good guy, he was a bad guy. He's been a bunch of things to a bunch of people. But very recently, especially during Annihilation and Realm of Kings, War of Kings, Thanos Imperative, the Annihilators, stuff like that, he has been a good guy. And I know I reference those books a lot, and I cannot recommend enough. Start off with Annihilation Conquest. There's 3 graphic novels. You could probably get them on Amazon. Hold on. I can do you a favor. I will leave this in the comments on Amazon. Annihilation Conquest. I'm sure it's 20 bucks. Annihilation Conquest. All right. So there's 3 books. Oh, you can get the whole omnibus hardcover for $99.37. Book 1, it looks like they have for 31 bucks. You can get the Kindle edition for like 10 bucks each. So I would do that. If you have like a Kindle or anything like that, and you read comic books there, you can get them for like 10 bucks each. Highly, highly recommended. But yeah, there's. Oh wow! All right, so maybe Amazon's not the way to send you, but I bought mine at my local comic shop, and I should have been prepared for this. Hold on, I'm gonna go get them. I'm way over here. That was my dog's toy. All right, so I grabbed book 3. Okay, book 3. If you buy it in your comic book shop, US $24.99. All right, so I'm sure they're gonna have it. And honestly, books 1, 2, and 3, Annihilation Conquest. If you've got $75 to spend, I love it. You're gonna see so many amazing characters. You're gonna see a new side of Drax. You're gonna see Silver Surfer. You're gonna see Moondragon. You're gonna see all about Annihilus. You're gonna see a new side of Galactus, a new side of Thanos. You're gonna understand Drax a lot. This is right before Drax joins the Guardians of the Galaxy. You're gonna see some Guardians of the Galaxy in it. You're gonna see Nova. Why I love Nova so much. I really love that storyline, so I can't really recommend it enough. Where's my controller? All right, so Ronin, he's a Kree accuser, and he does some really cool stuff. I love the fact that they kind of beefed him up a little bit. He looks all right, that sounds kind of weird, but like his costume, he looks really, really good in this game. And I love some of his kind of motions that he does. Like, it's really, really cool. And honestly, he was more involved with the Avengers early on than he was anything like Guardians of the Galaxy. So for a lot of people, like, he's not one of the characters like Nebula and Moondragon and those type or Mantis. And Mantis was an Avenger too, but I mean, like, those characters I kind of look at and I'm like, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't really look at it that way with Ronin. Because Ronin was like a big bad guy in Avengers early on. Lately, though, he's married to Crystal. This is like kind of an arranged marriage to kind of bring the Kree and Inhumans together. And they're doing, I mean, last I saw anyway, they were doing pretty well. Like, they were growing into it. And it was kind of like humanizing him quite a bit. So, or not humanizing, but, giving him that humanity kind of good guy feels and everything. The feels. He was giving him the feels. So there you go, Ronin the Accuser. Definitely a really great character. I think it's great when I know a little bit about a character because I can speak so passionately about them. So next up we have a couple characters. I'm just gonna switch off both of them. All right. So we have Ronin. Speak from one Ronin to another. This is Ronin. So Ronin has been a few people, including Echo, who's also in the game. Echo was the original Ronin. Then Ronin became Hawkeye, also in the game. And after House of M, I believe it was, when Hawkeye was presumed dead, he kind of came back a few months later, and he became Ronin. And then there was who was it? Black Widow's like ex-husband, like the Red Russian or Red Guardian, something like that. He became Ronin, and finally we have this version of Ronin we have now, who I have seen pop up in Deadpool during the whole marriage kind of storyline where he's marrying like the Satan's daughter or something like that. And that is Blade. So Blade was in the last game, the Wesley Snipes version of Blade, and this Ronin is supposed to be Blade. So, he's out in the light, which is great, but, this is our vampire slayer, and as such, he's got his sword, like Blade always does, and that's that. It's a very interesting character. I love the way he looks. He's a really cool-looking character. I really dig the way he looks. The way the color scheme goes together, the costume goes together. This is a great character, and I'm really happy they included this version in the game. Another very intriguing character I've talked a bit about is this man right here, Ares. I'm not Ares. You know why I said Ares if you watched the Ares video. The Sentry. Now, I'm going to stop the Sentry here for a moment. I've basically said that this is Marvel's Superman. A lot of people will say Hyperion, but that's a sore spot for me because I'm really trying to get Hyperion in my game, and I can't, even though I spent all that money just to show Hyperion to you guys. And, but, you know, here it comes. When he gets bored, it comes out. It comes out. It comes out. I said it comes out. How many times do I have to tell you? Please show yourself. Oh, there it is. The Void. So the Void is kind of what makes him schizophrenic and psychotic. And that is why he is such a danger. Basically, right before the start of the Heroic Age, right at the end of Dark Reign, we've got the Sentry kind of flipping out. Everybody had to fight the Void, which is why I think he ends up being presumed dead. And I've already talked about it with Ares. Like, watching the Sentry rip Ares in half is one of the most epic moments in comic book, like Marvel Comics history, as far as I'm concerned. Like, the graphic nature and detail they went through for that to happen was just incredible. And I know I've mentioned it in like a couple videos now. Like, honestly, the end of Dark Reign, that book where they take the fight over Asgard, where, you know, Norman Osborn is trying to invade Asgard. That's a great story. Thor comes back, and that's when Thor kind of reintroduces himself, the real Thor, not the imposter Thor. And yeah, Sentry, man, he is crazy. Now, I think he came back as one of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse for the Apocalypse Twins. I'm pretty sure it was Sentry, Daken, Grim Reaper, and shoot, one other one. I can't. I mean, I got a computer right here. 4 Horsemen, Apocalypse Twins. Let's try that. That was during the Infinity storyline. Yeah, it was Banshee. So it was Daken, Grim Reaper, Sentry, and Banshee. They were the 4 Horsemen of Death for the Apocalypse Twins. Can you imagine the Sentry as a horseman? Wow, that is intense. That might be one of the most dangerous horsemen ever. So yeah, anyway, that's the Sentry. And let's move on to our next characters. We have already done that. All right, we got She-Hulk. And let's just do this one real quick. We've got the S.H.I.E.L.D. Scientist. Okay, who cares? It's a S.H.I.E.L.D. Scientist. He's one of the characters you have to have in the game as a filler character, but whatever. So let's go ahead and talk about She-Hulk. Jen Walters. She's got the same... look at that face. Just looks constipated is what it is. I love her fist slam. This looks like her A-Force costume. So I really love it. I wish she transformed, though. Like, I wish that you could hold down Y and she would transform into, like, her human lawyer suit with, like, high heels and stuff. That would be fantastic, but they haven't made her transform in either of their games, so I feel like they're not going to. I play Marvel Heroes, and they have a version of her where she's wearing her lawyer outfit, and it's just such a great costume that I really liked. So there is She-Hulk. I think we all pretty much know about She-Hulk. I mean, she's a really solid character, and you know, one of the many Hulks that we'll be able to focus on. Look at the faces. Next we have Lady Sif, and I do want to talk about Lady Sif quite a bit because to me this should have been the next great Asgardian character. I feel like they did a really good job of introducing her in the Thor movies and even in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I really appreciate the fact that you know, Marvel is trying to have strong and powerful women characters, but I guess my biggest thing is that, you know, you didn't have to like rip off another character to do that. There are two perfect characters that they could have focused on, and one of them they're trying to their credit, and the other one is Lady Sif. So Angela is not in this game. Shocking, considering I don't know what they would do for an outfit other than just boobs. But alas, you know, Angela is a character they got her from the Spawn universe, so they might as well use her. They kind of threw her in with Guardians of the Galaxy for a bit, and now she's over on to the Avengers. Now, actually, I think she's like in Hell, like Agent of Hell. But she's the illegitimate child of Odin. Like, honestly, like that's the character they really should have kind of went after. Instead, you know, I'll get into the Jane Foster stuff later. But then there's Lady Sif, who, you know, it's always been Lady Sif in the Warrior 3. You know, she's been a kind of love interest of sorts for Thor. Well, love interest in the fact that she's interested. But yeah, she's just a badass. Jamie Alexander, that plays her, is gorgeous, number one. So that would play over well. And number two, you know, it just doesn't cause the confusion, you know? Like, so they've got Jane Foster as Thor in the comics, but they're still trotting Chris Hemsworth out there in all his glory as Thor. So I feel like it's just a confusing message to send, and I get why they did it. I don't have a problem with it, and I'll talk more about Jane Foster in a minute, but I love Lady Sif. I love this costume. I love this. This is definitely one of my favorite female characters in the game, even though she doesn't necessarily do a whole ton. But I feel like she's such a great character, and I would have loved to have seen them focus a little bit more on her. Alright, so that's one more row down, and we've already actually covered a couple of these characters. So before we go on to... before we go on, let's talk about the Son of Hulk. That is right, we've got Scar. How freaking awesome is that? Alright, you launch yourself up in the air, and then you come down with the boom! Love it. Like, honestly, like, I could sit here and do that all day in a video. So, obviously, Scar is going to be featured in the All Hulks video that I'll do. And then, you know, there's, you know, Jen and She-Hulk. Son of Hulk comes from space, I believe. I think he's a product of World War Hulk, if you will, who I know a lot of people like myself really wanted to see in this game. I mean, you've got Ravage, you might as well have World War Hulk. As a matter of fact, they should have had World War Hulk instead of Ravage. Let's face it. But he's got his sword. I know somebody said he was missing something. I know that's very vague, but I don't know enough about Scar to really tell you what's missing from him. What I can tell you is he's probably the coolest of the Hulks that's not red. So there's that. So anyway, there's Hulk, or I'm sorry, Scar. And we've already covered the speedsters here. So, all right, look. I understand that this is a character that has a really weird fan base. Like, I don't get it. This character was meant to be a parody. You know, having her beat Thanos and Doctor Doom and all these people was a complete fluke. It was really kind of meant to be parody. But, you know, somehow this cheesy character has become so popular that she gets a frickin' Squirrel Buster. I can't even. And I know those of you that are fans are probably sad face that I keep being mean about her, but is there a more ridiculously useless character or animal than a squirrel? Like, what do they even do? They just run around and get hit by cars. That's really all they're good for. Like, I mean, I've had squirrel meat before. It has been so long that I don't remember what it was like, but, you know, yeah, they're cute and cuddly until you get near one. I don't understand the appeal of the character. She's part of the Great Lake Avengers, and that whole group was supposed to just be a parody, and they were all just supposed to be a joke, and that was like their entire existence purpose. But for some reason, she's taken off, and I don't get it, and I'm always going to say that, and I apologize if you're a fan of this character. I really do. I know that it would be pretty awful if every video that I watched somebody was talking shit about Rich Rider, but I hate this character. But if you like him, you're probably, or like her, you're probably really happy with the results. But alas, let's get her the heck out of our lives for now. And talk a little bit about this guy right here, Stan Lee. Now, Stan Lee, I mean, geez, what can you even say about Stan Lee that hasn't already been said? The man is a god. He is, like, the most essential person in the history of comic books, as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. He's got a little bit of Daredevil in him. Now, in the last game, he was Spider-Man in this case. And I want to point out that when he gets bored, he tells you, hey, Spider-Man, ready? Ready? There it is. That's his Spider-Man web thing, and he's laughing at us. He's trolling us because he's like, this is what you cannot have. Spider-Man! And then he eventually flashes an X. Nope, not now. We're going to stay on it because he's going to eventually flash an X at you. I swear that he flashes an X at you. For the sake of it, I'm going to bring up a second Stan Lee so we can hopefully see him flash the X. And it's like he's taunting us, like, hey, you can't have this. What you can have, though, is Tony Stark equipping Stan Lee with Iron Stan. And there you go. There it is. There's the X. See? He's telling you, you can't have this. You can't have this. Anyway, that's going to probably be your favorite part of the video. But Stan Lee can turn into this Iron Stan, and it's fantastic. Love the animation there. Just a really cool thing. This is definitely a very good tribute to the man, the myth, the legend, Excelsior Hulk. He did this in the last game where he just rips himself right out into Hulk Stan. So, you know, you get the point. I'm not going to, like, the video's already getting long. So, you understand, you've already gotten to play as him. And then, last but not least, we have Stan Buster. Way better than Squirrel Buster. Now, I just want to point out a couple things. Number one, he uses a pencil as his missile launcher. And markers. It looks like those are markers or his missiles. And then up here you have a desk lamp that he uses. Ready? He adjusts it. And boom, he starts typing his next issue. And look at that. The fist pushes it over. Stan Buster is fantastic. He flies. Like, honestly, this is what these games are all about. You know? Having fun with it. And Stan Buster, like, how do you not love this, you know? So I'm glad he's with us. He's going to be with us forever. He's going to make it to 100. We all know it. And I love the fact that throughout the game, he's like, I made another cameo. It's so great that he's become that. And, yeah. So you have to unlock all of the Stan Lees in peril in order to get him. And, you know, it's really not that hard. There is a Stan Lee in peril detector. So I would definitely advise that you go grab that. And, you know, there you go. So, next up we have Stryker. He was in Avengers Academy. Kind of came up during the whole Initiative and Dark Reign story. Had some bad influences with Norman Osborn, and it's made him a bit of a bad superhero. Almost got kicked out of the academy. So there's a few things. I don't know. I don't really, like I said, it's not a character I know a ton about, but I get why they have him in the game, I guess. He does electrical stuff. I really just kind of feel like if you're going to have a character like this, even though he's Avengers Academy, you could have slid some others in here. I don't want to say he's AKA not Deadpool, but I don't know. I really don't think much of him. This is a character, though, that definitely belongs in the game. This is the Swordsman. This is definitely a hat tip to a classic age, where the Swordsman was the big adversary of Hawkeye, as you can tell. And he's also been an Avenger, so he's kind of been good and bad. And that's okay with me if you redeem yourself. But he's a master swordsman that shoots stuff out of his sword, apparently. So, he's got that Hawkeye look, and I think you guys will possibly enjoy him. Who doesn't have the Hawkeye look is this guy right here, Taskmaster. One of my favorite characters in Marvel. I really think Taskmaster is a little underappreciated. I know that they've done a really good job of elevating his status. He was in the last game, but with them going so initiative heavy, it really makes sense for them to include him in this game as well, because he was very involved with the initiative, training people on both sides. When it crossed over from Tony Stark over to Norman Osborn. He's had some cool battles with Deadpool, as you would imagine. Really just a really cool character. You should definitely check him out more. And I'm pretty thrilled with him. I realize this video is getting a little long. It gets longer every time. But here's Thanos, the Mad Titan. And he is everything. Thanos is life. Thanos is love. So boom. Belly flop of doom. And he's just, he's like, for me, this is the bad guy of the Marvel Universe. He's held the Infinity Gauntlet. He's after the Infinity Gauntlet now. They've been slowly building him up as the big bad guy for the next Avengers duo of movies. Honestly, just such a freaking awesome character. By far and away, my favorite bad guy. I would really recommend reading Thanos Rising. It's out in graphic novel form. There's 6 issues. Probably get it for less than $20. I'm still on Amazon, and I'm not putting that video or I'm not putting that link up for that earlier, because it's too much on Amazon for Annihilation. But Thanos Rising, I loved that story. It really gives you an idea of how he became who he is. You can get it in paperback for $15.62 with free Prime shipping on Amazon right now. Or if you want, you can buy it used for less than $5. It's a great story. I really recommend it. You're going to learn a lot about Thanos. As a character in this game, though, I'm a little underwhelmed. I kind of wish he would do a little bit more. All he really does is, shoot the electric and, the energy projection. He does launch himself into a belly flop, which is kind of funny. But, yeah, Thanos. What more do I really need to say about this guy? He's pretty dope. So, yeah, Thanos Rising, again, phenomenal story. I would totally recommend that. After Thanos, we are going to just do Tiger real quick. Now, see, if you can have Tiger wearing this, then you can have Angela wearing what she wears, even though it's a little skimpier. But you can just kind of play on it. So Tiger is, I don't know who came first, whether it was Tiger or Cheetah, but they're basically the same character. And that is that. So, not one of my favorites personally, but it is what it is. So let's talk about the God of Thunder. And this is Thor. This is the real Thor. And then he's got his Age of Ultron costume. The two costumes are super subtle. you really can almost not tell the difference between the two. But I think we're all okay with it, just because one's from the movie and one's not. I wish he had his helmet on in one of the character, things. I wish I didn't have to take it from the imposter. But look, I've said it a million times. This is Thor. His name is Thor Odin's son. His name is Thor. Whoever can hold the hammer, should they be deemed worthy, will possess the power of Thor. So, let me tell you about two other characters. We have Jane Foster, the imposter, and then we have Thunderstrike. I think it's Eric Masterson. Okay, so this is the how-to and how not to of becoming an Asgardian god. So he flies. He's got the hammer because he has to have the hammer in order to have his powers. And you know, how much does that really, like, how difficult is that? You know, how difficult is it to not be a jerk and say, hey, this hammer belongs to Thor, even if he's not worthy? I'm gonna go ahead and change my name. We'll go Thunderstrike. That's intimidating. So Jane Foster's a love interest of Thor. Like, they've been together a long time. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't like this character for the very specific reason of the fact that her name is not Thor. Like, and I know that there are a lot of people that don't understand my point of view when it comes to that, but, you know, that's up to you, I guess. So I like to call her Jane Foster, the imposter. And for me, like I've already said, Angela and Lady Sif, those are the characters I personally would have focused on. I don't really hate Jane Foster as Thor. I actually don't even have a problem with her being like an Asgardian superhero. And I even have the perfect out. Alright? I know I've mentioned it a few times lately. We're going to start over with Thor. We're going to do away with the silly Thor's comic that, you know, makes them trying to make it sound like this is a legitimate mantle and not a person's name. And Thor is going to be worthy again, and he's going to get his power. And obviously that's going to leave Jane Foster with next to nothing. And, you know, she's dying of cancer. I don't know if they've rectified that quite yet, but that was the whole big thing with her. And Thor, to make himself worthy again, or to prove his worthiness again, takes her through some mystical journey as they try to find a long-lost relic, whether it be an amulet or another hammer or a sword or an ice pick or a garden hoe, whatever it may be. And that will give her the power as the goddess of healing. And she'll be able to heal herself, rid herself of cancer, and she will be the healing god of the group. Like, I really think that sounds to me like such a great story, and I think that I think a lot of people would really enjoy reading it. She can keep her helmet, she can get her own look. I mean, like, honestly, like, it doesn't have to be Thor. They do stuff like this so they can show up on The View and say, hey, The View, ladies, we have a girl character, and we're going to give her the name of Thor because we don't respect you enough to think that you would want to read this if her name was Lady Sif. That's really what it comes down to. It's the shock value. And that's why I get so frustrated with it, because this is not Thor. This is what some guy in a marketing department said, hey, let's take Jane Foster, give her all of Thor's powers, call her Thor, show up on The View, and pander to their audience. And maybe their audience will start buying Thor comics. I don't know how these books have done. They must have done decent enough that they keep trying to force it down everybody's throat. They haven't had to panic and bring back Thor. But Thor Ragnarok is coming, and I have a feeling that once that happens, we're going to see a return of the OG original, not the Odin son. That's rude, Thor. So, I don't have a problem with Jane Foster being a powerful character. I don't have a problem with a female being a powerful character. I just have a problem with you taking a name and giving it to somebody else. It doesn't make sense. And it's really doing it for the sake of, you know, being able to go on The View and talk about it. You know, Sam Wilson didn't become Steve Rogers. He put on the costume of Captain America. Kate Bishop didn't become Clint Barton. She became Hawkeye. Like, that's that's what differentiates a mantle from just giving somebody a name. Like, her name can't be Thor because he was Thor because that was his name. I've ranted on that in so many videos, and this video is about to hit an hour, so we've got a couple more characters to go. I'm going to skim through them. This is Tony Stark, and this is also Tony Stark, and that's really all you need to know. Like, they kind of wasted a spot on these two. Obviously, they do show up during the movies and everything, so, you know, it is what it is, but I wouldn't have wasted time having two characters be Tony Stark, personally. This is Trauma. I really want to spend some time talking about Trauma. Trauma comes over from the Initiative, and he's just such a great character. Another long story short real quick. Trauma, Armory, and Cloud9 effectively kill, you know, what's her name? MVP. Mike Van Patrick, who ends up becoming the cloned and becomes the Scarlet Spiders. And it's ironic because there you go, there's Trauma turning into a spider. And if you want to know why he turns into a spider, it's because of that one sequence. Now, somebody tried to call me out when I said that Cloud9 basically got MVP killed, saying that that wasn't the case, that it was Armory. And that is accurate, but the whole reason why that all happened is because they were egging on Trauma, and Trauma basically made Armory see her worst fear, which was that spider, and spiders, like a giant spider, and she just flipped out and ended up, she had like this this super, you know, Metroid Samus arm where she shot things out of it, and she just blasted a hole through MVP's brain. And the reason why I say, you know, Cloud9 got MVP killed is because, you know, Cloud9 was just this innocent little girl that MVP was trying to save, and he let his guard down and just got blasted right through his skull. I love what they did with Trauma. Love this. That's so cool. And then the sinister laugh afterwards. Just absolutely fantastic. Such a great job. Great choice. And I bet you guys probably thought that I wouldn't say that, but this could end up being one of my top 10 favorite characters in the game, and that's Trauma. Next up, we have Union Jack. There is an achievement you get for using all the British characters, so definitely make sure you do that. In the video that I did last night, I got the trophy, so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to show you that because there's nothing but a loud squeal the whole time. You know, you want to make sure you choose Union Jack, Captain Britain, Trevor Slattery, and there's one other character. So you want to choose those characters, and you will get the what is it? Stiff upper lip. Captain Britain, Union Jack, Spitfire, Agent Carter, and Mandarin. You want to use all of them in one sitting, and you'll get that achievement. So, obviously, Union Jack has been in both games. TT Games is based in the UK, so featuring characters like that, not out of the realm. I mean, there's other characters they could have chosen, but whatever. I'm not worried about it. Union Jack's cool enough. I'm just going to bring up these characters real quick. You've got Ulysses Clow. This is the man that will eventually be Claw. Ultron cuts his arm off, which, you know, sets things up for him to be Claw. I think we all expect him to be the main bad guy in the Black Panther movie, and you know, that should be pretty interesting. You know, he's just a typical character right now. You have to just kind of appreciate who he's supposed to be, and I think you'll find him, you know, less useless. I do love that he can call in reinforcements. That's pretty cool. They're already out. They're guarding this guy over here. So that's Ulysses Clow. Looking forward to him being Claw, and we'll go from there. This is just an Ultron Sentry. As far as you know, cannon fodder goes, this is definitely one of the better, you know, that you can associate with or use. Not that I know why people ever would really want to use, you know, an Ultron Sentry or a Shield Scientist, when you can just turn around and use Ultron himself. Now, what I can tell you about Ultron is there's 3 different versions of him. All 3 are pretty cool and unique. So this is the Ultron Mark 1. This is when he comes out and introduces himself. And I love his clear head that he can turn around, and it's whatever it is. But, you know, I really, really love his clear head. I really love the way this looks. I love the way he only runs normal. I have no idea what just happened there. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to waste too much time. We're almost, actually, I think we're literally about to be done. So there's Ultron Mark 1. We have Ultron Prime, and then we have Ultimate Ultron. I think these are the last 2 that we have to cover. I'm sick of you 2. So Ultron is obviously the big bad guy in Avengers Age of Ultron. Hey, he's even in the name. Ultron Prime is his final, like, big form. And then Ultimate Ultron is, you know, an even more badass version of Ultron. You know, in the movie he was created... Whoa, I put my controller down. Don't do that. In the movie he was created by Tony Stark. In the comics he was created by Hank Pym. So Pym has got Ragnarok and Ultron on his resume. Good job, Hank. And, you know, whatever. What can you do? But, you know, Ultron is very useful. You'll probably use him quite a bit. He can manipulate the black kind of bricks. So there's not many characters that can do that. Ultron is one. Korvac is another. But he can fly. He can do all those great things. And, yeah, Ultimate Ultron. I personally prefer Ultron Prime. I like him. He's a little bit darker. And, you know, that is that. I think that's everybody. Let me just do a quick gander. We covered trauma. Yeah, that is everybody. We are a wrap. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to be honest with you. I enjoyed doing this one too. It ran about 10 minutes longer than the version I couldn't use from last night. But it's okay. I really hope you guys enjoy this. This is... Oh, gosh. I put my controller down. I'm going to just switch guys back to... let's go to Nova, and we'll go to Quasar. You know, 2 characters I know I love that are just going to sit there and not make my controller rattle if I put it down. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching these videos. I have part 5 to go, and I'm going to beg you guys again, if you can help me figure out what is going on and how I can get Avengers Adventurer character pack to download. I really need this pack. I really want to have it active and working before I record part 5, because I really want Hyperion to be in the series. If I have to add him later on down the road, so be it, but I don't want to have to do that. So this is part 5, guys, or this is part 4. I went pretty long, but I know you guys enjoy it. I hope you did. Thank you so much, and we're out. See ya.